that they would not depart from the way that they should go. Our children ought to look at us and be able to say, the Lord brought my daddy through the Red Sea and caused him to walk on dry ground, so he'll be able to bring me through. But sometimes it's not enough just for the child to look at the person as an example. Because we can know that we can do right, and the child is still doing foolish. And the things that we don't want them to pick up, they pick up. And the things we want them to pick up, they don't pick up. So there's hand in hand with this, because sometimes it's hard. You want them to live how you live, but you also got to instruct at the same time. They got to be shaped. They got to be molded. You got to teach them that this is the way that you should go. Not just from the way that you live, but also in instruction. Foolishness is bound in the heart of child. Bound. And it's bound in us. We're all children. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. And the rod drives it far away. And if you spare the rod, it'll spoil the child. We are children, and there is foolishness that is bound in us. Because like Pastor would say, God saved our souls, but not this flesh. This flesh is still corrupt. This flesh still needs a rod. And it needs that rod daily. I don't know about you, but this flesh needs a rod daily. This mind needs a rod daily. This heart is wicked. This heart is deceitful. It'll lie to you. It'll deceive you. It'll make you think that you're right and you're not right. It'll make you think that whatever this world assumes as prominence, but it's really not so. It matters what you do. It matters what you do in the field. It matters what you do when nobody else is watching. It matters what you do by yourself. It matters. It matters how you treat others. It matters because it has an effect not just on you, but also on others. And on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, soul, and mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. If you love me, feed my sheep. Jesus told Peter, do you love me? Feed my sheep. Do you love me? Feed my sheep. Do you love me, Peter? Thou knowest, Lord. Then feed my sheep. Feed my sheep. And as the Lord downloaded this into me, he put David and Saul on my mind. And I love the story of David and Saul and really going into it. And I began to read, and I wondered what really happened to Saul. Where did it all really go wrong? Why did Saul not get the same mercy? Why did Saul not get the same mercy as David did? God does not view greatness of man the way that we view it. Prominence in man's eyes is not prominence in God's eyes. The pride of life is not from the Father. The pride of this life, so much so that Paul said, I count everything as dung. I count it as a loss that I may win Christ. What this world says is prominence. What this world regards as accolades is not what God regards as accolade. Psalms 147:10 says that he delighteth not in the strength of the horse. He taketh no pleasure in the legs of a man. The Lord taketh pleasure in them that fear him, and those that hope in his mercy. God does not look on the outer appearance of man as man does, but he looks on the heart. God has always been interested in the heart. God has always been interested not in just the act, but in the motive. You could be doing everything right, but what is your motive? What is your motive? Deuteronomy 8:2 says, and thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness. Led thee these 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee, to prove thee, and to know what was in thine heart, whether thou would keep his commandments or no. The downfall of Saul's story does not begin when he tries to kill David. It does not even begin in chapter 15 when the kingdom is torn from him. It does not begin even a couple chapters before that in chapter 13, when Saul did not wait on Samuel, and Saul disobeyed and did not keep the commandment. And as we go through the story of Saul, you can find out that it was there all along. And as the saying goes, money does not change you. It just will reveal what was already in your heart. And if you allow me, I'm going to read quite a bit of scripture. But bear with me. It's the word. And if you preach with me, I'll preach good. And if you don't preach with me, I'll still preach good. Because the word is already anointed. Amen. 1 Samuel chapter 9, starting in verse 1. Now there was a man of Benjamin, whose name was Kish, the son of Abel, the son of Zeror, the son of Bechorath, the son of Ephrath, a Benjamite, a mighty man of power. And he had a son whose name was Saul, a choice young man and a goodly. And there was not among the children of Israel a goodlier person than he. And from shoulders and upward he was higher than any of the people. And the donkeys of Kish, Saul's father, were lost. And Kish said to Saul his son, take now one of the servants with you. Go and arise and go seek the donkeys. And he passed through the Mount Ephraim and passed through the land of Shalisha, but they found them not. Then they passed through the land of Shalim, and there they were not. And he passed through the land of the Benjamites, but they found them not. And when they were come to the land of Zuph, Saul said to his servant that was with him, come and let us return, lest my father leave caring for the donkeys and take thought for us. And he said unto him, behold, now there is in this city a man of God, and he is an honorable man. All that he saith cometh surely to pass. Now let us go thither peradventure, so he can show us our way that we should go. Why is it that the servant is the one that tells Saul to keep looking? Saul's mission was to find the donkeys. Not his donkeys, but his father's donkeys. And he takes a servant with him. And why is it that the servant is more concerned about the donkeys than him? Why is it that the servant is willing to go and further and look? And if you keep on going later in the same chapter in verse 20, and as for thine donkeys that were lost, he finds Samuel. And this is Samuel speaking 3 days ago. Set not thy mind on them. I don't think they were. He doesn't say a word about them. He doesn't even talk to Samuel about the donkeys. Set your mind not on the donkeys, for they are found. And on whom is all the desire of Israel? Is it not on thee and on all thy father's house? And Saul answered and said, am I not a Benjamite, of the smallest of the tribes of Israel, and my family the least of all the families of the tribe of Benjamin? Wherefore then speakest thou to me? In other versions, why are you telling me this? Why did you say this to me? We're of the smallest tribe, of the littlest of peoples. But as we read in the very beginning, Kish was a mighty man. Saul's vision is wrong. Saul's eyesight is not right. And if you keep on going to the next chapter in verse 9, and it was so that when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, God gave him another heart. And all those signs came to pass that day. God gave him another heart. God did not have to give David another heart. It never says with David that David had to get another heart. It just says the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. He did not have to have his heart changed, though. And you may say all of our hearts are wicked. Saul's heart was not right, but all of our hearts are not right. But it's not necessarily that it was not right in that God is saying, okay, well, no. Because if that was the case, David is just as sinful. Formed in iniquity. It was that his heart was malleable. In John chapter 3 later on, he says, and this is the judgment that has come into the world. That light comes. Not that the light necessarily, as soon as it comes, judges you. That's not what it says. But it's that when the light comes, that men would rather darkness than the light. that their deeds might not be made manifest, because their deeds were evil. But everyone that does truth, their deeds are made manifest. And it's wrought in God. And that word wrought, when you go into what it really means, it means beaten for use. Molded. Beaten into shape. So it's not that we were right. It's not that David was any better than him. But it was that his heart was more malleable. His heart was able to be beaten into use. And if you keep on going later in chapter 10 to verse 21, when he had caused the tribe of Benjamin to come near by their families, the family of Matri was taken, and Saul the son of Kish was taken. And when they sought him, he could not be found. Therefore they inquired of the Lord further, if the man should yet come thither. And the Lord answered, behold, he hath hid himself among the stuff. And they ran and fetched him thence. And when he stood among the people, he was higher than any of the people, from his shoulders and upward. Later Samuel says, is there not another man like Saul and all of Israel? Is there not another man like him? There's nobody more goodly than he is. And yet we find him hiding among the stuff. And at first glance, this would seem like humility. This would seem like, I just don't want to go before them because I don't know, I'm going to do wrong, or this is a big responsibility, taking charge over all my brothers and my sisters. But this is false humility. False humility wrapped up in self-preservation. Saul never really had a mind after the people. Saul's mind was never on finding the donkeys. Saul's mind was never on keeping the people. He was hiding among the stuff. Sometimes we hide among the stuff. Sometimes we can find ourselves hiding among the things that we have. And like Pastor said earlier, among the goods of this world. If we could just numb out and tune out what's really going on. Because you may be able to make it. You may be able to pray and it may get you through. But there's still a world that's dying. There's still a world that's in need. Hiding among the stuff. And here's the thing. He still goes on to be anointed. He still goes on to lead.